welcome back to JDA Football. On this episode of interviews, we have got NetworkMichaelD. How are you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm alright. Busy. Staying not bored. You know what it's like. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just trying to stay entertained, really.
Yeah. So we'll just ask you a couple of questions about Everton, and yeah, it should be a good video. So Alex, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so my first question is, how far do you think Carlo Ancelotti will take Everton?
First and foremost, I think the season. I think with Everton, I think there is going to be a period of time it's going to take for us to get to where we want to get to. So that's the first thing, because I think Everton fans in the past, including me, have been a little bit guilty of wanting things instantly. You know, this season I expected we'd finish third, which was just far too ambitious. So with that being said, I think if he can get us Champions League football in 3 years, I'd be happy. If we walk into our new stadium with Champions League football in 3 years, I'd be happy. An FA Cup or a Carabao Cup, yeah, I'd be happy. But I think the most important thing for Everton is to simply progress, because we've had loads of money come in and we've wasted it and gone backwards. So it's really important we start to move forward again. Do you get what I mean?
How well do you think the FA have handled the quarantine in the higher leagues?
Terribly, to be honest. I think at the end of the day, and I think it's not just an FA thing. There's been leagues all over the country, all over the world, all over the UK, that fundamentally shouldn't be going ahead, because, you know, the Bundesliga, before they started, they had people going back into quarantine. They had more people getting coronavirus. We had 3 of the Watford players getting it. We've had several players from, you know, other clubs in the Premier League that have got it. The SPL has been cancelled. League 2 is likely to be cancelled. I was speaking to a Bradford player yesterday, and he said that League 1 is likely to be cancelled. So in that case, the integrity of the league is done. So for me, if the league, and if anyone wants to give Liverpool the title, absolutely fair enough. Over 30 games this season, Liverpool deserve the title. Give them the title, but just don't relegate people. Just say, you know, it's very difficult, but you can't do one thing for lower leagues and you can the top league. And the FA, in my opinion, have got it wrong and have been governed by where the money is, and that's the Premier League. So yeah. I've been really disappointed with the FA and how they've managed all of this. To be honest, it's been shite. It's been shit.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm a Villa fan, so definitely. I'm scared, to be honest. I'm scared as to what they're going to do with us. Because personally, I think we could have stayed up. But if they don't give us that time and relegate us straight away, that'll be the worst thing for us. But I'd also feel a bit like cheated out of a season if they just cancel it completely.
Yeah, I just think for clubs like Villa, who have been inconsistent this season, you know, the teams that have been inconsistent are your teams like your Bournemouth, your Villas, yeah, I mean, even to a degree like Norwich, for example, they go to places like Man City and they've played well. They've got a point against Man City. They come to Everton and they got a 2-0 win. You know, we're seeing that clubs just don't deserve to just go down just because they want to cancel the league. But it equally isn't fair. And I'm mad for saying this, but it isn't fair on Liverpool cancelling the league and them not getting the cup, because they've deserved how well they've done.
Yeah, they've done insanely well this season, yeah.
They have done, but equally, look, being an Everton fan, I'm not going to lie to you. If they said to us, right, you're going to void the league, no one's getting relegated, no one's winning the league, I would be absolutely over the moon. I just can't see the FA agreeing that. And I can't see Sky, BT, any of the TV rights doing it. But trust me, that's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you were a Leeds United fan or a West Brom fan in the position of basically they're ahead of head and shoulders above everybody in the Championship? How would you feel?
Yeah, well, again, I think, look, they're going to feel similar similar to Liverpool. You know, Leeds have been in the Championship now, I think it's 16 years. They're a big club. West Brom are a big club and would come up in the next couple of seasons anyway. I think it means more to Leeds than it does West Brom. And I think with Leeds, I think they would be desperate and they would be devastated if it was just void. But you have to finish the season then. And if you're going to finish the season, you somehow have to play the games where it's safe to do so, where players are not interacting with other players, not getting coronavirus, not potentially dying of this, you know, or killing or affecting their fellow family and whatever. So it's really difficult. If the FA could say to us categorically that they are going to play all of their games remaining and it will be 100% safe to do so, I've got no problem with it. They can't do it. So as a Leeds fan, just like yourself being a Villa fan, they're probably shitting themselves, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? They're just probably shitting themselves and thinking, fuck me, if we don't come up, I'll be fucking devastated. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
What impact would you say Carlo Ancelotti's had since he's coming at Everton?
So I think first and foremost, all of a sudden we're not a bunch of pussies, because we were going into games under Marco Silva and we was expecting to lose. I was there when we played Norwich and when we played Sheffield United. And both of those games, at no point did I think we wanted to fight to get a result. And that there's a big difference between playing a team off the park and fighting with a team. And I mean, this is no disrespect, but Man United have had a similar issue this season. They can play great football. They've got good players. They can be quick. They can be skillful. They can open teams up. But if you're Sheffield United or your Aston Villa or your Norwich are going to just kick 10 tons of shit out of you and make sure you can't get anywhere near the league, Everton haven't been able to deal with that this season. Carlo Ancelotti walked in and went, right, that's going to stop. We went up against Chelsea in one of the games to Duncan Ferguson, and he made a massive difference even before Ancelotti come in and basically said to the players, stop bottling it, because you should be winning at least your home games. And then a couple of weeks later, we went to Man United and we put in a really good performance. And if it wasn't for your young lad up front, if Greenwood hadn't come on and equalised for you in the 78th minute, no one would have sat there and gone, Everton didn't deserve that. So all of a sudden, Everton were fighting a bit more. Carlo Ancelotti comes in and just heightens it even more. All of a sudden, the players know what they're doing. They're being a little bit more creative with the ball. But what they're also being is more efficient. So we're not making 30, 40 passes for a goal. We're making 15, but they're good passes. And that's the difference Carlo Ancelotti's made. We are not the most attractive football team in the league, which we could say that we was a few years ago under Martinez. We played beautiful football. Now we don't play beautiful football, but we get results, and that's where I'd rather be as an Everton fan. I'd rather be going in the right direction, challenging teams like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, than looking at Leicester and thinking we could be where Leicester are. There's no reason Everton could not be where Leicester are, but we bottled it.
There's definitely a huge change in player mentalities and everything from last season.
Yeah, and I think that people never really talk about mentality in footballers, but you know, a lot of footballers will not get to where they've got if they've haven't got the mentality that they want to win games. Like I don't know much about you three personally, but you know, up until I become a fat ginger leprechaun, I used to be able to play football at a decent level. I played for Birmingham City up until I was 15 years old. I was a good player. I broke my knee in a tackle and that ended my career. But the simple fact of the matter is, I always believed I was the best. In school, I was the best. My county, I was the best. Because you have to have that mentality. Every single footballer believes they're the best. And when a player gets onto a football pitch and thinks they're beaten already, it's a complete waste of time, in my opinion. So Ancelotti coming in, going, I've won the Champions League. I've won the Liga. I've won the French, I've won the Premier League. I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. Now you're going to do it. That is massive to a footballer. That really is. Because you could have the best squad in the world. But I'm telling you right now, if you stick a manager like Marco Silva in front of them, you can probably relegate a team. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think Everton could have done better this season?
Oh, fucking hell. So, apart from everything. So, first of all, recruitment. In the summer, recruitment was shit because a lot of people were hyping about Everton going after players like Zaha, which we went for him and went for him and went for him, and it never come off. We also then got linked with players like Decore. We got linked with Grealish, but he was never going to leave Villa at the time because they were back in the Prem. And absolutely fair enough. You know, we got linked with some really big players. And on deadline day, we walk out with Iwobi. And I sat there and looked at myself and was just like, I can't fucking believe we've spent £35 million on a player that's worse than Balasla. And he was on loan at the Villa the season before, no disrespect, in the Championship. So recruitment was shit. Then you go into the season, we're not scoring enough goals. Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the time was poor. We didn't have a striker. We had Umar Niasse or Cenk Tosun. Well, I ain't being funny. I can score more goals than both of them put together, and I'm obese. It's just not. It wasn't conducive to a good performance. So Everton just lacked strike power. They lacked the mental capacity because Marco Silva, at the end of last season, he got us playing really good football. We beat Man United 4-0. You know, we were flying. We beat Chelsea. We got a draw against Liverpool. Pretty sure we beat Man City. We were flying. And we come into this season with all this optimism, and the recruitment was so bad that I genuinely believe it killed us. Genuinely believe it killed our season because Marco wouldn't have been happy. The players probably weren't happy, thinking, yeah, we're going to be playing with some players that are definitely good players, to end up with Alex Iwobi, which couldn't even warm Arsenal's bench. I mean, he wouldn't warm my bench in the Sunday League. So I just think that's killed us. That wrote this season off, start to finish.
Yeah.
Do you also think us losing Gabamin and Gomez so early on in the season really halted our progress? Because obviously we had no midfield because we've lost Guy, we've lost Gomez because of that injury, and then bringing in Gabamin for so much money in the summer and him just not being able to play, meaning we have to play like Sigurdsson as a defensive midfielder, Delph, who's absolutely tragic, Schneiderlin, who not been the best this season. He has improved a bit from last season, but yeah, it's just not. We've got no creative midfielders at the moment. Gylfi Sigurdsson not on the same level as last season at all.
Yeah, I think the fundamental issues with Everton in the midfield have been catastrophic. But again, I think that goes down to recruitment. They knew they were losing Garner, and they bought Gabamin in, who is a similar player, but he's definitely not the same type of player. You know, he's not an NDD from Leicester. He's not a Marvellous or whatever his name is at Aston Villa. He's not a player that gets in and around players. He is a bigger sort of Fernandinho type player. I don't think he would have done the same thing as Garner anyway, because Fernandinho gets the ball and lays it off, whereas Garner for us can pick up the ball and carry it. He could carry it 10, 20, 30 yards, whatever. He couldn't. So losing him, then yes, we lost Andre Silva in, I think it was early November. We were already 15 games into the season at that point, so I don't think it was early. I think the simple fact of the matter is he knew that we needed a centre midfielder who was creative, who knew where the goal was and could carry the ball, and that's been our issue. If you look across our midfield, Everton have scored, I think it's 5 goals from midfield, 2 from Bernard, 1 from Sigurdsson, 1 from Walcott, and it's poor. Now, there's younger lads that they could have bought in for that, and I don't think they did. So, for me, I don't buy that. Just because we should have known that Garner, and if we lost Gabamin, you shouldn't just have one player in one position. You should be able to go, yeah, I've got a couple, I've got 2 or 3 that can do it, and we haven't. You know, if you've just stripped back our midfield, Sigurdsson is not good enough. Even last season, all he did was score wonder goals. He didn't do anything else. His assist was shit. He was never a number 10. Tom Davies, he's not good enough. The best midfielder, centre midfielder we've had this season has been Morgan Schneiderlin, which is fucking madness to say. And alongside an Andre Gomez, no one's going to get you goals anyway. Even if you stick Gbamin in there, no one scores out of them three. So the biggest issue has been he never went and got a player who could drive and could shoot from long range or just create stuff. We needed a Decore. Do you know what? We needed a Ross Barkley. And I fucking hate saying it because he's a snake. But we needed someone who could get the ball, pick it up, drive at a defence, really hurt them, lay it off or score. Sigurdsson can't do that. Tom Davies can't do it, and no one else can. They should go and sign me. Fuck it.
So, say if you were talking to the Everton recruitment team, who would you want to be in place for next season to play for Everton?
So I want a centre back. Now, Everton have been linked with a few centre backs. So let's roll out the big one first of all. We've been linked with Koulibaly. Never going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to sign for Everton. I know he likes Ancelotti, and I get that, but Everton are not going to spend 60 million quid on a 30-year-old centre back. It's not happening. We've been linked by a few sources in France and then also in Spain with Todibo and Magalos, one from Lille, one from Barcelona. It wouldn't surprise me if they both come in, because I could see Moise Kean leaving Everton because he's not good enough. Mason Holgate has been our best, so I could see them two going in. In terms of a right back, we need one. Sidibe's not good enough. John Joe Kenny's out loan at Schalke, and obviously Seamus Coleman's, he's the wrong side of 30 now. So we definitely need a right back. As to who you go and get, for me, I like Max Aarons from Norwich. I like Max Aarons. Think he's a good player. We also need a midfielder, somebody who can carry the ball, somebody who's clever, creative. And there's 3 players for me that can do that, and they're all English. 1, we're definitely not signing. 2, I don't think we will sign him. And 3, we might get. But there's Todd Cantwell from Norwich. I like Todd Cantwell, and I think if he could play in the middle of the park, he'd be quite dangerous, be a good player. The other one's Jack Grealish. Now, we all know that Jack Grealish is a phenomenal player. In my opinion, he's the best English midfielder right now. But that means that a lot of clubs, including the club that he plays for now, Villa, are going to do everything they can to keep him or get him.
Yeah.
If a bid from someone like Man United comes in and a bid from Everton come in, who are you going to pick? Man United. It's obvious. Equally, you're asking him to go from a Villa side, which is his family, he loves Villa through and through. He got punched in the face playing for them last season. I mean, fuck me. To go to an Everton side, which is, yes, attractive, got a new stadium, got some owners. I just don't see him doing it. So the player that I'd go for is actually someone like Decore from Watford. And I still think to this day we need a winger and a centre forward. Centre forward, I'd love to go and get Belotti. And as a winger, I would literally get anyone other than Theo Walcott. So literally, you give me a name and I'll sign him.
Obviously, there's been a bit of controversy around Moise Kean lately. Do you think he has a future at Everton?
I think he does, but I think he's really close to being fucked off. I think he was an idiot, to be honest. I think, it's fine him coming out and saying, look, I don't know what lockdown means, but you can't be a retard to understand that lockdown means stay in your house and don't have prostitutes around milking you all night. You can't. He's got to understand that he's broke the rules. He's done it several times. He's gone into, he's been late for training. He did that for Italy. And so I have concerns about his attitude. But I feel like Everton will give him the benefit of the doubt because they spent so much money on a player that no doubt has world-class potential. Mm-hmm. However, if he wants to go and Carlo Ancelotti doesn't think he's good enough, then yeah, I'm fine with him leaving. But I want a replacement. I want us to go and get a replacement. And if that replacement is slightly more than him, then so be it. But I want someone who can score goals because Dominic CalvertLewin's had a great season, but one-on-one is poor. Richarlison's better. And I just want more goals all over the park. I love us to play with a front three of Richarlison, Dominic CalvertLewin, and someone on a right wing up front who can score goals. And if that isn't Moise Kean, what's the point?
So you're saying finishing and creative play in the midfield is where you've fallen down this season?
Well, we've only got 5 goals from midfield, so it's not the only place, but yeah, it's definitely up there. The fact that I think our centre backs and our defence has got more goals than our midfield is embarrassing. Certainly, centre midfield is horrible because we've got no one who can physically kick a ball in the correct direction in there, and then we've got no one who can put the ball in the net. So that's poor. We have needed a centre midfielder who can score goals for a few years now. And I was hoping it was going to be addressed with Decore last summer, and it hasn't. So, yeah, definitely. It's definitely cost us. And if they don't fix it this summer, it will cost us again.
Where do you see Everton in the next 5-10 years?
Depends. So, if Everton's recruitment is right and Carlo Ancelotti is given time to build a team, in 10 years' time, I genuinely believe Everton could have won a title. I'm not going to say multiple. I'm not going to say they're going to win 5 or 6. They could have won 1 title. And I'm saying that because Tottenham could have won a title. Do you get what I mean? Like, and I see Everton as Tottenham as the size clubs. But if they get recruitment wrong, we're going to be exactly where we are now because we have been for 35 years. We haven't won a title since 87, I think it is. We haven't challenged in an FA Cup final since 2012, 10, 12, something. You know, we've got to a couple of semi-finals. I want to see Everton challenging again. And if it takes 3 years to get Carlo Ancelotti the players he wants, it's challenging top 4, then there's no reason that in 5 years, in 10 years, Everton can't have won a title. But it really does depend on the recruitment being right.
Yeah. Just the last question. Where do you rate Calvert-Lewin with the current Premier League strikers overall? Because he's joint 8th in the Premier League at the moment with goal scoring. So what do you think?
I rate him as joint 8th in the Premier League. I think with Calvert-Lewin, it's difficult. It's difficult because I slagged him off for 3 years straight. Calvert-Lewin has had 1 good season, so it could go either way. He could end up having 1 good season and completely flopping, or carrying on now, stepping into a similar vein that Harry Kane did, where he's had 1 good season and he just carried on. I hope Dominic CalvertLewin does that. My issue is he doesn't score enough one-on-ones. He doesn't always make me think, yeah, he's been a nightmare for the defences. He doesn't always fill me with confidence. I need to see more from Dominic CalvertLewin. But there's no doubt he has massively improved. There's no doubt he's massively up there. And look, if you was to ask me to pick an England team at the tail end of our last game, which was against, our last game at home, which was against Man United, if you'd have asked me to pick an England team as of right then, Dominic CalvertLewin would have got in my England team as a striker, which I know is a bold thing to say, but he would have based on form. He needs to keep going. And if he doesn't keep going, he'll be found out and he'll end up at Sheffield United or someone like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, Mike. It's been an honour having you on.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks.
No, honestly, lads, thanks ever so much for asking me.